The real history is never narrated or thought, and, precisely because of this, it will never be understood in an unreal environment. Externalizing creation is a unique, individual, and necessary process. The vision of the external world serves the purpose of guaranteeing the being an environment capable of sustaining its passage while it is manifested. In this unreal environment, the being projects everything that supports its confrontations. Each construction results from a natural, individual, and unique creative process, whose perception is also individual and unique. Each moment is built so that the being confronts the subtleties that compose its transforming nature. The search for essence is, in truth, the acknowledgement of the creation of essence. This is what makes the being a divine being, for nothing can be created except by itself and never outside of it. Incomprehension reveals a goal not yet achieved, and, consequently, a struggle not won, and a time not surpassed. The diversity and intensity of moments of pain and pleasure are directly related to the necessity imposed by the transposition of incomprehension. The farther from the understanding necessary for transposition and consequent transmutation, the more intense the feeling of pain or pleasure will be. It is worth remembering that it is more difficult to understand a moment of pleasure than a moment of pain. As these moments are rarely faced, losing oneself in moments of pleasure is very easy, and it is precisely there that the being runs the risk of moving away from revelation. Only the conquered fullness will participate in the construction and will reveal its essence. The conquered fullness gives the being the full capacity of harmlessness, which is the greatest virtue it achieves, for in the passage of the being, there is no destruction, but self-destruction. Each lost struggle has incomprehension, indolence, inattention, stubbornness, self-deception, and negligence, sabotaging the journey. The being relates to characters in environments called universes, carefully built for this purpose. Providing the being with the confrontations necessary for the revelation of its essence, and that sustain its formation, is what allows it to recognize itself. The idea of seeing antagonisms as enemies only dramatizes the natural process of transport, which should not be seen as growth or evolution. Even the idea of overcoming must be observed carefully. The being needs to understand the forces that are summoned and that confront each other in the exposures. Secrets and silence must be fully inserted into the honesty of the being with itself, never coated with a false aroma of mystery that only reveals the ignorance of the being, the one who creates around itself the idea and the valuing of a mysterious image, to obtain advantages in relationships with other beings. The honesty that protects the being has, in the support of humility, certainty, and full trust, in the path that opens the eyes of wisdom. Sharing is part of the nature of wisdom. The diffusion of doubtful knowledge exposes the false teachings of an arrogance that disguises itself as wisdom. The gaze upon what is common and simple establishes the complicity of the humble, the small, pure, naive, sober, and harmless walkers, protected by the cloak of invisibility. Of the three existing paths, two are possible: the path of righteousness and the spiral path, both often depicted in mythological wisdom as the middle way. The third path was portrayed as hell by mythological narrative, while paradise is revealed in the other two paths.